and welcome Mindsetters to this session of Learn Extra Live, doing grade 11 life science. I hope you guys are ready. You've got your pens and pads out and you're ready to make notes. I've got Llewellyn here who's going to be taking us through today's session. What are we doing today, Lou?
Body plans.
All right.
So let's have a look and enjoy it.
All right. Nice, short, sweet, to the point. Okay,
That's
so
it.
while Lou makes his way to the board, Mindsetters, I can't stress enough. Make sure that you guys get on the page, www.facebook.com/learn extra, and get chatting to us. Let us know if you're lost anywhere, if you need help. Guys, I can't stress enough. If you do not tell me what you're having a problem with, I cannot tell Lou. And if Lou doesn't know what to help you with, you see the cycle here. It doesn't work. But anyway, on that note, this is where I hand over to Lou. Lou, take it away.
Okay, so we're here and we're ready to work, hopefully. Now, today we're having a look at body plans. Okay, now, don't stress too much. I mean, if you have a look at it, you think body plans. Now, what does that actually mean? Okay, we're going to break it up nice and simple, right? We're going to have a look at different phylums and where they come from. And we're going to start with the easiest, and we're going to end off with the most difficult. Okay, so don't stress too much. Try to stay with me, and we'll get there. Right? First one. Let's just make sure that I am right. Want to get you there. Okay. Aspects of a body plan. What is it? Okay. Now, we have a look at body plans as it's identifying roundabout what a body is. So if we look at humans, okay, humans are made up of 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, hair, and a brain. Okay, plain and simple. Very easy, very nice. Now, that is the easy way of looking at it, right? We actually need to go in a little bit more detail. So we actually have to look at what's inside, what you don't see, and what makes people or animals special, right? So first one. Okay, symmetry. Now, what is symmetry? It's not symmetry. That's where we go to bury our dead, right? It's symmetry. It's very simple, how the body can be divided, okay? That is what symmetry is. You get 3 types of symmetry, right? You get asymmetry, you get radial symmetry, and then you get bilateral symmetry. So what I've done is, I've put them down here so you can actually write them down. Let's lengthen this page so you can actually see. There they are, asymmetry, radial symmetry, and bilateral symmetry, okay? Write them down. Those are nice words to have a look at, and we're going to keep mentioning it because that is how we classify them, or that's how we look at the body parts. That's the first thing we actually look at, okay? Now, let's start off with number 1, okay? Asymmetry. Now, asymmetry is quite easy, right? Asymmetry means no matter what I do, I cannot get even parts. Now, when we look at symmetry, we have a look at how we can divide it in the best way possible, how to make it even. I know identical sounds good to you guys. It's not really identical, but it's what is on the left can be on the right, and what is in front has got to be in the back, right? So if I had to do something like that, put a nice big block in, right, and I've got 3 dots here and 3 dots there, right, I can cut that in half, right? You see there's 3 dots this side, 3 dots that side. That is what we're talking about with symmetry. Now, when it comes to asymmetry, we can't. No matter how we try, we just can't. Now, have a look at this, right? If I pull this down, just have a look at that. You tell me, if you can, well, you can't answer me, but you can, but try to figure out where I'm coming from. Now, if I take this thing, how can I cut it to be even, right? Can I cut it like that? I don't think that's going to work, okay? I cannot cut it like that. Trust me, it doesn't work. There's different things on different sides, right? The number of cells, there's a lot of things that's different inside, okay? So we're looking at the symmetry part, and we cannot cut that, no matter how I try. Let's move down a little bit more, and we get a nice big one, right? How would I cut that? So let's try it. We'll cut it down this way, okay? If you had to count all the little knobs, this side is going to be completely different to that side. If you have a look nicely, this one will look different to this one, right? They're all different. So you cannot say that you can cut them in half or cut them sideways. Okay, so that means this is symmetrical. You cannot cut it in half. You cannot cut it in quarters. You cannot do anything. It's always going to be unfair. Okay, so that is asymmetry. If we have a look at the next one, radial symmetry. Radial means what? Very simple. Circle. Okay, we can cut it in any way possible. That is why it's so nice. If I have a circle, I can always cut it like that. It's even. That side's even to that side. I can cut it like that. It's even. I can cut it like that. It's even. And I can cut it like that. So any way I possibly can, any way I think of, I can make it even. So this one will definitely be the same as that one the same as that one the same as that one, and that one the same as that one. It's all nice and even, okay? So radial symmetry means no matter how I cut it, I'm going to get an even side anyway. Okay, so that's a nice way of looking at it. Okay, so we've got the first one, asymmetry, which of course you cannot cut. And then you got your radial symmetry, which means you can cut it, which is quite cool, right? And a nice picture of something, you might not know what that is, but we'll get to it, right? Now, you having a look at that and you thinking to me, Lou, but how are you going to cut that in half? Okay, that just doesn't work. The circle, let me draw a circle. That doesn't make sense. Ta? Do you think that'll work? Radial symmetry. Cut anywhere in a circle. Everything will be even everywhere. I
That
don't think
should
so.
work. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece of an art, but it works.
Let me have a look at this. I'm going to erase this just because that was to show you something. What we actually do with this little creature, right, or organism, is we actually take it from this. Okay, if I make a fist, that's the top, that's where these funny things are coming out, and I'm actually going to do that, right? I'm going to put it like that. And what we're actually going to get is something that looks like that. There. Right, that's what it looks like inside there. Now, my drawing is terrible, but stay with me and let's see what happens. So we actually took this thing and we pushed it into the board like this, and if you have a look at it, we can cut it. Let's change colors so you can actually see. If that is an organism, right, we can actually cut it. We can put it down the middle, which means there's 3 on this side, 3 on that side. It's quite nice. I can cut it this way. It's 3 on the side, 3 on that side. It's quite nice. I can cut it this way. There's 3 on that side, 3 on this side. Have you noticed how I can cut that all over the place, right? I can even get a little bit cleverer where I can, let's say they look, oh, that doesn't look good. I do this and make them like that, right? I can actually go ahead and cut it right in the middle of these, right? Which means it's still even on both sides. So that is quite nice. We can actually cut them in all ways. So we don't look at this animal as we're going to cut it as we see it there. We have a look at the top of it and we can get radial symmetry. Okay, which is quite nice, right? And let's see if we've got any more pictures. I'm sure I did put one in it. And how cool is that, right? Cylindrical. Okay, same thing. I can cut it any way I possibly want. It all works out very nicely. These are real organisms. This isn't fake. I didn't sit and make a plan with these things. These are real. This is things that live on this earth, right? And this is the symmetrical things we can cut it in half, right? I could take it right through there, all the way through there. You see how it's symmetrical. Both have these big spiky things on the sides, right? So that is radial symmetry all the way around, okay? We're left with one. The last symmetry that we look at is, wait, let's go back. There we go. The last one is bilateral symmetry, right? Now, bilateral symmetry means we cut it in half, right? We can cut it completely in half. This side is even to that side, okay? It actually looks like a mirror. If I had to put a mirror over here, right, we'd get this side even to that side. It's unbelievable. Huh? Just think about this. Ty, can I steal you for 2 seconds? What?
Okay.
Okay. There's Ty. Guess what? If we cut him completely down the middle, Okay, bilaterally symmetrical. How nice is that? So we are this type. Thanks, type. we are this type, right? We can actually look exactly like this. But now, the scary part of this is we cannot, I repeat, we cannot be cut that way, can we? Oh, getting overexcited with a pen there. We cannot cut, look at this. Yeah, we've got an anus, and there we have a head. Now, that doesn't work, right? You've got two big black dots this side, well, two black dots this way, two small dots that way. Can you see where I'm coming from? It only gets cut one way. We are, as you're sitting there, bilaterally symmetrical. That's us. Okay, which is quite cool. That's the first part of body plans, is how are we in shape, should I say? Okay, are we bilaterally symmetrical? Are we radial symmetrical? Or are we asymmetrical? A means no, well, there's no symmetry at all. Radial means any way we want to. And then, of course, bi means one way, not two, one way down the middle. We can make it bi. Bi meaning two. Okay, which is quite nice. That is what we look at when we look at symmetry, right, of an animal. Okay, now, body plans actually give you the phylums that we're sitting in. Okay, phylum is, can you remember we start off with, you get the kingdoms, you get the animal kingdom, you get the plant kingdom. I'm not going into more kingdoms, but we're just looking at those two. And then as we're going down, we get to the phylums, and the phylum will tell us what type of animal it is, right? So at the moment, we've only done how we can put it into that phylum. Okay, if you look at it, you can be put into this phylum as in your school because of your school uniform, separate you from other schools. Okay, that is how we look at phylums. Okay, now, if I have a look, there we go. Next body plan we're going to have a look at, it's very, very simple. All animals, okay, all animals start off as a single cell. Very simple. We all start off as a single cell. Now, if I had to go into a little bit of detail, okay, your mom has an egg, your dad has a sperm, they come together and they fuse, they become one cell. Now, that's where life starts. One cell, right? And then they multiply into lots and lots and lots of cells because you, as you're sitting, are multicellular organism. It means you've got millions and millions of cells which actually do different functions, right? Which is quite cool. Now, next thing with body plans is we have a look at how many layers we actually have in us. Now, I know I'm telling you I've got millions and millions and millions of cells, but those cells actually make a layer, right? And we get two types of layers, which is quite cool, right? We can either have, not two types of layers, we got three types of layers, but you get two types of animals, okay, if they've got two different types of layers. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. The three layers that we can actually make, okay, is your endoderm, right? Endo meaning, can you remember there, if you look at that, endo is inside, right? Meso is exactly where I put it, in the middle, okay? So E for can't say E. Endo means inside, meso, which is middle, and then you get your ecto, which is outside. So remember, endo means you're going in, meso is in the middle, and ecto, you exiting, okay? So it's the outside. Meso, middle, ecto, outside, and endo is the inside. So those are the three layers you get, okay, in the organisms. That doesn't matter how many cells you've got. That's how we divide them in. That's what the types of layers we get, okay? Now, that's all cool. What I've done is I've actually given you a nice picture. I'm going to lift it up a bit so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, now, we started off as a single cell over here, right? And that cell moves along, okay? And as it moves along, it starts dividing, okay? As we divide, we get more and more and more and more and more cells. And after it's divided into quite a few cells, now the cells start to move to different parts of this whole body of cells. It's called the body of cells because there's a lot of cells together. Okay, so these cells, they start migrating or moving away from each other to go to specific parts, right? And once they start moving, they do something they call differentiate. Now, that's a nice big word. Differentiate. When they differentiate, they actually change their function, which is quite nice. So if you have a look at it, there we started with a single cell. They go through divide. I'm going to put lots of cells together, just 4, okay? And then they get more and more and more, and then they end up with a thing like that, right? And once they've done that, the cells, as you can see, you will see this piece here. I don't know if I can see that. Let me change to let's try green. Okay, there we go. That is, hopefully, you will notice how it was a ball of cells, and it actually moves away, and that little gap over there is the same as that gap over there. If you notice how they've moved away from each other, and it keeps going and it keeps going and it starts going into layers, right? And then we get to the layer part, and as you can see, I've labeled it as we should. For example, you get your ectoderm, which is the outside layer, which is this layer over here. It's this grayish layer, right? Then you get your mesoderm, which is this red layer over here. Nice. And then you get your endoderm, which is the yellow cells that are ended up at the end, right? Those are the 3 types of layers, okay? And excuse me, if we have a look at those layers are going to start putting certain parts. Now, as you get higher up in complexity, I don't know if you can understand what, I'm sure you will. I mean, you grade 11s. Complexity means how difficult we are and how complicated we are, okay? The higher you go with complication, right, the more difficult it is, but those 3 layers are still there, okay? Now, not all animals have 3 layers. Some have 2, okay? Some only have 1, okay? The ones we'll have a look at is like your amoeba and all of that. You know, the single-celled organisms that float around and go eat little things, right? That's a single-celled organism. And then we've got the multicellular organism, which has got 2 layers. We're going to go into them next. And then we've got the third, which becomes us at the end, okay? We, as we stand, are 3 layers. We've got all 3 layers with us. Okay, so before I carry on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say go for a quick break, okay? I'm going to get the next slide up, and then I'll explain it again in writing so you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, ta.
All right, so on that note, Mindsetters, make sure you guys keep getting on the page, keep chatting, make sure you're talking. I'm loving what's happening right now. So many of you on the page, which is so awesome, which just always makes my job a lot easier. But on that note, Mindsetters, we're going to see you after this break.